The perfect economy is the economy composed of buyers and sellers. The perfect economy is a true free market, devoid of all regulations, even that of strongmen and Nimrodian wannabes. In a perfected economy, there is no means by which a person can obtain anything other than through work, that is, by the expenditure of energy in constructive activity. Trade does not give us something in the sense that it adds more to what we have. Trade is transformative, not accumulative. Gifting is not considered obtaining or acquiring, as this is considered an active and acquisitive activity. When one is gifted something, one is given it. One does not get it. Parasitism is in a different category than that which charity is in. The parasite obtains property, but through coercion and deceit. Parasitism is a manifestation of the lies in the system. All parasitism is based on a lie. If you hear a lu, know it is said in pursuit of an unjust claim. If you see parasitism, know it is backed by a lie. There is not one without the other. Liars and thieves are one and the same person. The economy represents equality. Equality is owning what you create without anyone having any claim justified that is not against what they created. We own what we create. We have no claim on anything created by another. This includes what is created by man and God, meaning we have no claim on anything not created by us, including that which was created by God. No one has a claim on anything physical. These are assets created by God, no man. Man adds value to assets to create equity. Man owns the equity he adds to the assets of God, but not the assets. Therefore, ownership of the physical world by human beings, their agents or institutions, is another form of parasitism. We have dominion, which is a form of responsibility, but the physical world, or any part of it, is not ours to do with as we please. We are accountable for our use of it. There is only so much the individual can do, especially if he works with the world in its natural state. Humans need to specialize and modify the natural world to make it more amenable to his needs. When done right, and is accomplished through economies of scale, civilization emerges. Obviously, there are many things that need fixing or upgrading or remodeling. But perfection is not solely about the end, which technically cannot be acquired, as the end ideal is God, and that can only be God. The ideal for mankind is to do the best with what we have and not waste what is available, or worse, misuse it for the benefit of a parasitic conspiracy. We do not have an ideal or perfect form of personal transportation. The objective is not to produce the best possible form of personal transportation. The goal is to look at all the resources available to us and marshal them in the most effective way possible to produce the best vehicle possible. Do we need 1,000 never models with 50 different options each? Are all the different models and companies due to being the only way the most ideal form of transport can be produced? Or is the plethora of models, options, and companies due to a struggle for market share? I do not know the answer to this, though I suspect the answer has more to do with profit margins than product evolution. This is why the market itself needs to justify to itself what it is doing. The person who works and produces a benefit for the community has no need to explain why he deserves to be paid. The onus is on those who want a share of the fruit without having done any of the work, that have to explain themselves. This is why they need to lie, because there is no moral basis for taking what someone else produced. Regardless of how people think, the situation we are in is very simple. We all need to consume resources, and to do this requires work. When we get down to the basics, we are economic beings in that we are in the red or black. We either are in positive or negative territory. If we do not pay our own way, the difference between what we consume and what we earn must be transferred from someone else. But there is no moral justification for this. No one can make a reasoned case for being a parasite or freeloading off of the work of others. But there is little need to spend a lot of time on the economics of this world. We all understand the power disparities that come with wealth inequalities. What is needed is an alternative. An economic model can only include three elements: the buyer and seller and a unit of account. The buyer exists because he has units of account representing the value of work he or she has done, and the seller exists because he or she has added value to assets to create a modification to something owned by God. What other thing does an economy need? If we multiplied just these things, we would have the means to create a perfect civilization. Perfectism is an economic theory based on perfect ownership, that is, ownership without liabilities. A liability represents a claim on property. All property has competing claims in an imperfect or contested economy. Unfortunately, in a parasitic system, the ownership of resources always falls in the hands of a parasite. If this did not happen, the system would not be parasitic. Nimrod was the first recognized parasite. Sometimes the parasitic system is referred to as the Nimrodian system in recognition of this. Communism attempts to localize ownership in the hands of parasites. This does not work out well because parasites are more focused on reaping than planting. Capitalism is also parasitic, but it permits symbiotics to thrive. Social symbiosis is where two parasites work together to gain an advantage over an oppressed group. For example, the state and capitalism work together to freeload off of labor. Perfectism. In a perfect economy, we own only what we create. The phenomenological world was not created by us, so we do not own it. As perfectars, we add value to the assets of the world to make them more perfect. That is more useful to us, which gives what we create greater value to us. We are paid for our labor, for the value we add to assets, as this is the portion of a product that belongs to us. Our work creates a liability position which needs to be liquidated, as perfectism does not permit duplication of ownership or competing claims on the same asset. Payment made for work done restores the upgraded asset to the property of God and the things of God, so that we have no claim on the throne of God, an important position to be in. The church is God's representative on earth. It is the church that reimburses us for the work we do. These are the fruits of faith by which we are known. The work we do represents equity. This is income. Equity represents deferred consumption. This gives us credits. Equity is represented by preferred shares. Preferred shares are how equity is measured. When preferred shares are issued as a currency, preferred share is contracted to prefers and designated by the symbol. We are paid in prefers for the work we do and the value we add to assets. Prefers are income and are used to purchase the goods and services available in the market. The perfect economy is a market without the qualifications of politicians. Laissez-faire was always a hypocrisy of the highest order. Capitalists wanted to be let alone, but protected. Their idea of a perfect economy was one in which the state existed to serve the interest of the property owner. The response to this was, of course, communism and socialism and a greater demand for democracy. The perfect economy is nothing more than a person being paid for what work he does, which means that we all pay for what we get. If we each are willing and able to pay the full cost of what we consume, the worker will be able to be paid the full value of the work he or she does.